Anxiety Society. Is that something? Welcome to
yeah.
How Do We Human. This is the podcast where we talk about all the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Binning.
I'm one of your hosts, Evan Cox.
Today we're going to be talking about anxiety. It's something that's kind of been present in most of our past episodes, but
Yes.
now we're just going to focus solely on it.
Boom.
But before we focus solely on it,
Hey.
I gotta focus solely on you, Evan, and ask, how you doing?
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Don't focus solely on me.
That's you in the spotlight.
Me
Yep.
in the spotlight. I was trying to come up with the next lyric, and then I remembered spotlight was the second part of that lyric.
Correct.
And I was
It
like,
begins
oh!
with you in the corner, yeah.
The next lyric is losing my religion. Hey, that would have been good. Anyways.
That would have been great.
I'm doing fine.
Okay.
I got hit with a little old nostalgia bug recently. I forget why it came. I think I got an email because I used to do Ancestry.com, and I had put a family tree together, and I don't pay for it anymore, but the tree still exists, and I can still look at it, and it tells me when I get little, like, oh, we think this person might be connected to you. So I got one of those emails and was checking it out, and it made me go like, oh, I kind of want to look at the old home videos I have the family when all of us were kids, even my parents. We were all children, and I had digitized those forever ago. I'm set up for that. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I don't know if I am anymore. But I have a VCR and a cable to plug it to my computer and rip VHS
Let it rip.
tapes, which is handy. And so this got me thinking. And I remembered that, like, I don't even know when. Probably when I was like 20 or so, over 10 years ago, after film school, or maybe it was before film school. I can't remember, but I had bought a lot. Well, okay, start this over. Before I went to film school, I was very interested in old cameras. I still have a collection of them. And I had bought a couple of Super 8 cameras at Goodwill. And my grandpa was like, oh, we used to shoot stuff in Super 8 all the time. And I had
like
also
when
bought...
an alien landed in their town?
Yes.
Okay.
Super 8, for those that don't know, is a type of film. Just really thin and super cheap, which is why they had it, because they were cheap. No, but it was like, not like I'm shooting a movie, like old family videos. And so I had this, which was an old home video of theirs from 1969. And I was like, man, that would be cool to take a look at. And all these years later, since I have it right here. I don't know why I'm holding it but not showing it to you. But I brought out the prop. But I was like, my dad and my grandpa would love this. That would be so cool. I don't have that technology, but I looked it up and found a place in Los Angeles, in Pasadena, that does film to digital transfer, and they're called Los Angeles Video Transfer Service. I'm always plugging the businesses I use, but they did a great job. And so I was all hyped on this. I texted my sisters. I was like, yeah, is that a good idea? Would that, or would that, like, make people sad because it's my grandma passed away, and I don't want to bring up sad memories. I don't know the context of this vacation. Right. Maybe he was getting rid of it because he was like, I fucking hate this video, but here, you play with some film. So I got the temperature for everyone. Everyone was like, oh, they're gonna love, oh, that's so, oh my God, it's gonna be the biggest thing. So I go, I do it, and it's like $50 or so. And it is 3 minutes long.
Okay.
There's basically nobody in it. That it's like the first 2 minutes are just a shot of nobody at my grandpa's old shop, his auto shop, just shooting a car driving by. And then there's some kids waving out of a car, but they're not anyone I know. So I'm like, ah, it was a big old bubble burst.
Yeah.
Just like,
Swing and a
man,
miss.
swing and a miss. I had really high hopes. That's probably why it ended up in my hands. But $50 later, hey, I've got it on DVD and a USB drive. So who's laughing now?
Yeah.
You gotta check them out. You never know what you're gonna find on old film reels. It was worth it, right? Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Chris,
was worth it. Yes.
what you got going on?
Oh, I recently was on the bus leaving work. I've mentioned that the employees have to take a little tiny shuttle ride to where we park.
Oh yeah.
And this is for all employees in the building, not just my company. And so I was on the bus with people from a different company, exclusively people from a different company. And I don't know if you have ever been in a situation where you are seeing two people who are strangers to you, and one of them is so goddamn thirsty for the other one. um, but that's what was going on
Uh,
this bus.
I am drawn in by that, so I always zero in on like I gotta watch this shit.
Yeah, it was this one woman really thirsting over this guy, and
Damn.
like at first she had asked like, "Oh, do you have a long, drive home?" Because it was late. Yeah. And she was like, "You have a long drive home?" And he was like, "Not tonight." And she was like, "Ooh, you got multiple places you lay your head." And I was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck? Get me off this bus." Um, and then she had like baked stuff, and so she had given it to like the other people that worked for her same company, and she gave some to him too. And each time he took a bite, she would make the noise as if she was the one enjoying it. She was not eating anything.
Oh
But
no.
each time he would take a bite, she'd go like, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, oh my God.
Oh,
If
I
this was
bet.
the bus from Speed, I would say just slam on the brakes and let's all blow up. This is uncomfortable.
It's a good dialogue.
Yeah, so
It's a deleted scene from
that's
Speed.
a deleted scene.
Ugh.
One passenger just gives up for everybody. Just runs up to the front and has Sandra Bullock slam on the brakes.
If it's gonna be this much speed, just slam on the brakes and we'll all explode. Why don't you?
This yeah. So
Wow.
that was an uncomfortable micro moment
Mm.
in my life. It, dare I say, it started to fill me with a wee bit of
Huh.
anxiety.
Oh, anxiety.
Anxiety.
Hmm. Sounds like pee anxiety.
Yeah.
It's not what I intended.
Have
I
you ever had that?
don't. Well. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, a little bit. I had a.
Yeah.
This is not what this episode's about.
No.
But unless we just keep going, and then the episode will be anxiety. But I remember when I was probably, I don't know, 14, 13, going over to my friend's house and staying the night over there with a couple other of our friends, and we'd be up playing Mario Kart and shit. And his mom had to work the next morning. Both his parents had to work the next morning, but his mom was the one who chose to break in to her own house,
Yeah.
break down the door and just be like, shut the fuck up. Like, shit my parents would never say to me. And then there's an adult that you kind of vaguely know coming in and being like, shut the fuck up. I have to work in the morning. And so from that point on, I have the tiniest bladder, and you'd be surprised to know that when I was tinier, it was tinier.
Oh, I was gonna guess
That
bigger.
would be weird.
Yeah. Yep.
They used to call me Bladder Boy.
Your bladder is the only part of you that has like the Benjamin Button disease, so it goes the opposite of the way that you go. As you get bigger, it gets smaller.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
That might also just be how it works. I don't know. But so yeah, I had to get up to pee several times, and that's like, in his bedroom. There's a door closed, and then they're down the hall. The bathroom's like right outside of his parents' bedroom. It was awful. That's
Yeah.
He had told me, like, you pee not into the water, just hit the side of the bowl, and
Right.
make less noise. And I started doing that from that point on, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that that's messy.
It is messier.
It's a messy
absolutely.
way to go.
Yeah.
But that was some pee anxiety in my life.
I think that my pee anxiety would be at the urinals. When people are trying to talk to you at the urinals, hey, that doesn't work for me. Usually, like, also if there's just somebody right next to me at the urinal, it takes a second to help me. We mentioned earlier, let it rip.
Yeah, I get that. Sometimes you need a sec.
Yeah. Now let's spill. We've talked about anxiety. Let's spill that anxiety.
Anxiety, you and me, also known as anxiety.
Anxiety us. Oh,
just one e.
Just one e.
They're pronounced the same. It's not our fault.
Yeah, it's not our fault.
No, it's your fault.
Yeah,
not you, listener. It's your fault. You put this on us.
Haven't you ever been anxious before?
Nope.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
This will be so great because we'll have different opinions this whole episode.
No, I'm a wildly anxious person. Always have been, or probably since teenage years, maybe earlier.
When you were skateboarding?
My teen years? Yeah, I got all sorts of skateboarding anxiety. It's an anxiety-inducing thing. I've probably brought that up before, but like, just the way when you're at a skate park, it's like one person goes at a time because we don't want to all be running into each other. So there's all these big boys, and they're doing crazy shit, and then it's like, okay, here's my chance to continue learning how to do this. And you just got a bunch of people watching you. It's fucking awful. So I would never be good because I was stressed the fuck out every time I did anything there. I will ask you,
okay,
if you've had anxiety.
Yeah,
Great.
I have. I also, so I would say that I'm a fairly anxious person too. Like, I have to psych myself up for like phone calls, or like sometimes to go into like businesses where, like I know I'll need to speak to a salesperson.
Businesses you've previously been banned from.
Yeah, I gotta really psych myself up.
Here we go.
I think I mentioned this like a year and a half ago on the podcast, but when I had to go into the Spectrum store for the first time to set up the internet, I really had to like psych myself up, walk past the entrance once to like just get a quick little peek inside. What's it like? and then go in.
I get that.
Uh, this is something that recently happened to me, as recently as yesterday. It's
Oh,
almost like it's the reason we're doing this episode today.
interesting.
But I had my first, or at the very least, first in as long as I can really pinpoint and remember, anxiety attack. You ever had one of these? You
Ooh,
heard about
you
this?
know it all
Um,
day.
all day, 24/7.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this yesterday I needed to, that was the last day that I could be in my old apartment. I have
Oof.
moved into a new apartment, and I had almost everything that I needed to take out of my old apartment. It was the stuff that I had that I was not going to take, but
Yeah.
needed to still get rid of, that I still had over there. And there was a lot of big furniture stuff, and I started to panic for two reasons. Number one, would I be able to get rid of it all?
Yeah.
I had no idea. And two, I decided, unless it was something that I could like sell, something small that I could like, bring to a mutual meeting point to sell, I was just going to give it away for free.
Yeah.
So to be proactive, the day before, this was on Monday, I posted some of the stuff like it's free if you can pick it up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Evan, throughout the course of selling all of these things, I received over 350 messages in that 36-hour span.
Oh, yeah, that stresses me out. Oh.
Yeah,
Ugh.
my phone like did not stop buzzing with offer up notifications,
And that's
and
a
the
bad
emails
notification.
that say that you got an offer up notification.
On your real quick, this is
Yeah.
important. On your
Yeah.
phone, is the offer up notification like a cash register sound?
It is.
Ugh, it's awful.
Yeah. It's a cat. I normally have my phone on vibrate though, and when it's
Yeah.
on vibrate, it vibrates the same way it would for a text message.
Ugh.
So I think I'm getting text messages, but really I'm just getting the same thing over and over again. Hi, is this still available? Hi, is this still available? Hi, is this still available? And so I struggled yesterday morning. I was having a big ol' anxiety attack. And it was the first time that I think I'd ever experienced it, because for a while, because I'm such a little judgmental little douche,
Wow.
for a while I think that most people, when they say they have anxiety attacks, I think that they're lying for attention.
Yeah.
Because I had never had one, but
I
now
saw
that I've had one, it's real.
And I want attention. Damn it. That's how it always works. Same.
Yeah.
It's a bad time. I've got things to say about that, but curious because they do kind of show themselves in different ways with different people. What were you? What was happening? Shaky body, short of breath, like
It
heart
was like,
explosion.
yeah, it was just like eyes wide open, just kind of like
Yeah,
very quiet, just sit on the couch and just let it all just ride it out, kind of.
impending doom.
Impending doom, yeah.
Yeah,
No real like other symptoms, I guess, but just very much like shutting down and just letting the dread wash over me.
yeah. I do a lot of shutting down.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have these happen often?
I mean, yeah, comparatively, yes.
Okay.
Not like every day of my life, but um, I've said before, it's grocery stores. Weirdly, the place I tend to go every day.
The place you go every day?
Yeah, that is the place that, like, if I'm just in I don't know, a mind state or something. I don't really know what leads to it, because sometimes I can be in a public place and I'm fine. But when I'm in a certain headspace and it's you're in aisles, which are like enclosed kind of spaces, and then there's strangers coming up at you, and especially now it's like some people wear masks, some people don't. Doesn't matter. I don't fucking know. And a lot of times it's happened at the grocery store where it's like I need. Okay, there are a couple items at grocery stores. Not to do another episode about grocery stores, but where it's like, where the fuck do you put this? Because it's never where my logic brain would think. And it's kind of all similar, like Parmesan, not fresh
Mm-hmm.
Parmesan, but like shaky Parmesan. And that's always with
Yeah.
pesto. I'm not really looking for pesto or like Worcestershire sauce, stuff like that. And it's like some stores they'll put it with sauces or with the pastas, and sometimes it's in a completely different aisle. Sometimes it's over with the cheeses and all that shit. And if I've come just, I'm like, I need an item. I'm not leaving
Right.
this store until I find this fucking item. And there was literally a time, probably 2 years ago, where I spent an hour and a half at the grocery store just speed walking the aisles. And I'm like, I can't ask for help because I'm
No.
freaking the fuck out. And I just start going on a nosedive of like, I'm rational enough to know that this isn't possible.
Yeah.
There is pesto in this fucking store. Granted, I should have just got some ingredients and made the pesto. It's pretty easy to make. But I just, yeah. It, relating to what you were saying about shutting down, what I wanted to say is like, for me, it's an unconscious number. I think I have a max number of things I can have on my mind at once, and I will always feel it the second something pops on that I'm just like, don't have room for it.
Yeah.
And
Too much.
I can't compute, and I just shut down. The other night, my girlfriend and I were making dinner. She'd made meatballs, and I was making some mashed potatoes. I forget what else was going on. We were cooking a bunch of stuff. So cooking, I do a lot. I'm good at this. I'm multitasking on several different things we're cooking at the same time. And we finished off with one of the cast iron pans. Cast iron, not supposed to use soap on it. Supposed to, while it's hot, run it underwater, take a plastic or wooden scraper to it. And it's fucking hot as shit. And so I pick it up and I'm like, here I go. And then Jocelyn asked me a question. And I just like stopped completely in my tracks and just said something along the lines of like, I gotta do this. just went over and watched the pad for a while and then set it down. And I was like, okay, what's up? I was like, I couldn't do it. It was gone. I was like, nope, I'm falling apart. We're nosediving. uh, uh. So yeah, I don't know. Yours sounds more like just a number of messages and shit like that, but like just the large gravity of a situation
Yeah.
happening before you. Ugh. It's not fun,
No.
and I'm not fun to be around when it's happening. And that's the worst part.
Right.
I love to be
Neither was
fun.
I. Yeah, I prefer to be
Were
fun.
you alone or?
When I was having the when I was being attacked, right? I my girlfriend was here because I was having
Oh
that
boy.
attack here,
Yeah.
and she felt bad, but didn't really know what to do. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen often to me, so I also didn't really know what either of us could do. But she had to go to work, so she wasn't going to be able to help me at the other apartment. So that would have been the most helpful thing, but it wasn't an option. So
And
so
you,
yeah, she's just a bad time.
and you invited me over, and I was like, "Nope,
Yeah, you're
can't
like,
come."
hell no, I don't want to do that.
No, I had work. It's a long night. That sucks. But some I know a few just like basic things you can do that people say. They call it grounding, where you just like touch something and just
No,
kind of
I'm
focus
listening.
and just kind of like focus on that. That's kind of just a start of just because when
Like
what
a fidget spinner, or like if I
a desk,
touch
like the
this like
floor, your
this fake ice
chair.
cream spill. Okay,
I
so just
find
touch
it
it.
it more of a like big things or like things on the ground, a chair or furniture, whatever's around you. Because when you're going into an anxiety attack or a panic attack, it's all fucking in your head. You're just in your
Yeah.
head 100%. And so it's like very helpful to just like whatever you're doing. If you're like gripping your armrest on your chair and you're at a desk, like reach out, just like touch the desk. That's a little reminder, like, oh, my body's here too. I'm still here. I'm not like falling down a deep well. The other thing I've heard is like picking a color and just like trying to find everything around the room that has that color. And it just kind of helps roll your brain back a second. And then, of course, just good old breathing. It's
Good
important to
old
do.
breathing. Friend of the show.
And unlike my tactic when I'm having a little attack, uh, not too fast. I like to breathe very fast. I'm maybe the fastest breather there is.
Can you give us a little taste?
Oh, yeah. Good shit.
And that's helpful, you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's the opposite of what you want to do.
Great.
Uh,
I remember, as a big fan of Bill Hader,
yeah.
right? He would frequently have panic attacks, anxiety attacks
Yeah.
before going out. Every episode for 8 seasons of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And something that I've heard him talk about is that what helps him is to just kind of call it out in your mind, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just having an anxiety attack right now.
Yeah.
And from that, you can start to rationalize it and bring yourself back down a little bit. Especially if you've had one before, then you can go like, oh, this will pass. Here are some things I can focus on.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I had a situation because that makes me think of, hey, good old improv.
Oh, a place riddled with anxious people.
If Bill Hader had a hard time being very, very funny on SNL, he should have tried being anxious and unfunny at the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Two or
Yeah,
three
for
times a
sure.
week. It didn't feel great. But
No.
I remember I did a show with an old team of mine, one of the class teams I did. And after we finished, one of the guys on the team like zoomed outside. Just went like, pew. I'm like, oh, guess he's taking off. You've been, sometimes you
He
finish.
was zooming before the rest of us. We all had to wait until 2020 to start zooming.
Sometimes you finish an improv set with your teammates and it's like 6 people hang out and then one person doesn't even say goodbye. Just zooms out the door and they're gone.
Yep.
But then me and another friend of mine were like, all right, we're taking off. And we went out there and this guy was out there kind of like looking intense. We're like, oh shit, are you okay? He's like, yeah, just, having a panic attack. And I've got to go like, oh shit, sorry man, I know how that goes, which is like, that doesn't help anyone.
No.
But less helpful, was the mutual friend of ours. It was like,
Mm.
oh man, that sounds like terrible. Like I think I've had one of those before, but like, you know, whatever, like, but we should hang out sometime. Like, just starts like going in on this guy. Being like, now's a good time to like talk and try to get to know each other better.
I would say that one of the like least appealing things that could happen during an anxiety attack would be to start making social plans.
Right?
No thanks.
I felt very bad, but I'm also like, I'm anxious enough that I'm not confident enough to be like, yo, you know, step back. Like, I think he just needs some space. Let's go over here. I was just like, I don't know what to do. So I
Yeah.
just stood there and got lumped in with him. And I don't think that guy likes me very much. You've mentioned attacks.
Yes.
I've got a story.
State tax, federal tax,
thumb tax,
thumb tax,
sticky tax.
Great, we found one.
Yes. Remember when the sticky bandits became president and vice president?
I do remember
they
that.
laid out the sticky tax. They approved it, I guess. So, whatever. Anyways,
didn't lay it out.
I got a story about an attack. You thought you were all hot and fresh with your story from yesterday. I got a story from.
We got one from today.
From today.
Oh my
shit!
God, this hot off the presses.
Hot off the press. Not a like anxiety attack or anything, but just a full on like, I don't know, like a good outline of how anxiety makes my life hard and makes me not be as good a person as I could be.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I just feel anxiety feels like a lot of walls. I put up a lot of walls, especially socially. But I go out, I walk my dog several times every day. Classic thing. I love to talk about it. And so I know my neighbors that way. The people in the neighborhood. Oh, the people in your neighborhood.
Oh, the people in your neighborhood.
But I rarely talk to them. Every now and then there'll be a little quick exchange. Hey, how you doing? But whatever. But there's just a few people that are just like real sweeties. Mostly the older people that live in the neighborhood, and I like them. I don't talk to them much. This person in particular, I don't believe even speaks English. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but I'm too anxious to try because I'm like, I'm going to sound like an idiot. So I don't know why I put so much time trying to learn Spanish. Anyways.
Are you positive that they speak Spanish?
Yes.
Okay.
Not a doubt.
That would be the best, is if you worked up enough phrases to start a conversation in Spanish.
Buenos dias.
Habla Portuguese.
Fuck. Anyways, so I'm walking my dog earlier today, and I believe unhoused young woman, possibly not, but regardless, clearly mentally unwell.
Okay.
Me, I'm not here to judge. I hope the best for everybody. Get it?
Especially because we're mentally unwell.
Fucking
might say.
That's the thing. I know people complain about homeless people all the time. I'm like, oof. I don't ever feel that far off. It's a small chain of events that can lead to that. Anyways, she's not doing well, and there's a difference between someone that's like, oh, they have mental problems and they can't hold a job because of it, and then there's people that's like, oh, your issues have made you very dangerous to be around. You've become erratic and you seem to have weapons. This was one of those situations. And so she walks past me, and I'm, kind of one of those, like, I'm not, I have no reason to make eye contact. So let's just not keep my earbuds in, eye contact away. I'm going home. But then over the music in my ears, I hear like some hubbub going on behind me, and it's
Okay.
this sweet older woman and this lady are like yelling at each other. And I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know what's going on. And so I've like pick up my dog, kind of watch it for a second. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring my dog in and come back out because I don't want to have to deal with my dog if this is going to be an encounter. And so when I step out, this woman, the young woman, like shoves the older woman into her own fence and is like screaming in her face and like physically trying to attack her. I'm like, uh-oh. So
Yeah.
I run that's the thing. This is in the mind. Like if I'm telling this story like I'm trying to impress someone, well, I ran
Right.
up there and I said, "You get the fuck out of here and don't be hitting people I like." Well, that's not what I did though.
You ran the other
I
way,
ran the
right?
other way. I slowly sauntered up like a little snake, making sure nobody heard I was coming.
Sure.
And then she went around the corner. She was just around there for a long time. And the neighbor of mine was like on the phone calling people. But I'd seen that happen, and I'd seen the other woman coming back around the corner a few times and yelling some more and throwing shit. So I'm like, I'm going to go across the street and just kind of like watch and make sure. That's all I could do. I'm not like, if she's obviously calling someone, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I can do. I don't want to step in
Right.
and like, I'm going to punch you. It's not a good look. But I'm like, I feel like I can't just like leave this. Like there's a social responsibility. But I don't want to look like I'm just watching either, like a spectator.
Right.
Uh, but then my neighbor keeps kind of like looking out her window and will almost make eye contact. And I avert my eyes because I'm anxious about the situation. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't like, does she want me there? Does she not want me there? So I was just kind of like standing there for nearly no reason, just watching out, seeing if something happens. But I keep thinking like, I don't know what I'm doing here. What good am I doing? If
Hmm.
like something happens, am I going to actually do something? Or am I just standing here to be a witness to a murder? I eventually I'm assuming it was her son. Someone drove up and was just sitting there in their car, keeping an eye on it. So I'm like, I guess I'll leave. And I just did. And I never spoke to her. I never said, are you okay? Or, do you want me to stick around? I never made eye contact with her. I never let her know that I was there for that purpose, all because of anxiety. I did nothing. I just went over and watched for a while. Like, man,
Yeah.
my neighbors
I
would
think
like me
that's
better.
probably what I would have done too.
Like, what do you do? I'm not a spring into action kind of guy. Plus,
No.
she seems dangerous as fuck. That's one word I kept hearing. Cuidado. That's danger. Danger. She's
Danger.
dangerous.
Huh.
So I don't
Yeah,
know. There's
that's
not an end to that story. There's not an end or a
no.
point, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. So I feel
Yeah.
like, and granted, I'm a non-violent person. I didn't want anything to happen, but you get riled up when you see a neighbor you like getting shoved
Yeah.
around by someone. I don't know.
It's yeah, I mean a lot of the stories that are relevant to this topic don't have endings
Yeah,
because
because we don't let
you just shut
yeah
down. Nothing
a
happens.
movie about like an anxious person that isn't like ending in their redemption from no longer being anxious. That movie would end very disappointingly because
Yes.
anxious people don't let good endings happen, good or bad.
Right.
Just
I
avoiding. We're all just avoiding an ending. I think that's it. Anxious people. We're avoiding any and all endings.
There was last week it was my girlfriend and I's 3-year anniversary. We
What?
went.
God, this
Yeah.
pandemic fucked with my sense of time. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we went to the immersive Van Gogh
Mm, how
experience.
was that? I mean, we could talk later.
It was different than I expected. I
Yeah.
think what I expected in my mind, and what it actually was were different, but it's still good.
Yeah.
Then we went to a fancy restaurant. We had gone to a fancy restaurant in March for her
Damn.
birthday. This was in March. We went to this like rooftop bar slash restaurant in LA.
Hell yeah.
Super nice. It was super quiet. They seated us like right on the edge of the balcony there.
Sounds
So
dangerous.
we had that nice, yeah, Guidado, right?
Correct.
um, but they sat us there towards the edge, had a nice view. It was great. This place that we went to was in Santa Monica,
Oh.
also an elevated restaurant. Still had to take an elevator up. This one, um, it was like the doors open. They open, the elevator doors open like directly in front of the hostess stand.
Oh.
And the hostess stand behind there, it's 5 women who give off the like popular girl vibe of like, hey, if you're not hot as shit, you are not worth my time.
Mm-mm.
And that's the first thing you see when those elevator doors open.
Yeah.
They were nice. They they checked in, they took us to our table,
And who
and
was
it
behind
is
you? Josh Duhamel.
yeah, they were
Fucking
like,
guy.
can you two move, please? But they're then they take us to our table, and it is just a cacophony of noise.
Ooh.
Every table is like as close as, this won't make sense for our listeners, but as close as the screens are, Evan, for you and me
Yeah.
during this recording, that's how close the tables are to each other.
Like
So you're like
half an
right
inch.
next to, yeah,
Oof.
you're like right next to each table, and everybody in there uh is very attractive. Like everybody.
Yeah.
And so immediately, if that's ever anything that you've doubted about yourself, you're so uncomfortable.
I mean, LA in general is a bad place for. Yeah, it's like I gotta get away from here. I felt pretty fucking attractive in Washington from time to time.
Yeah, but so it was the combination of and to top it all off, because we were going to that Van Gogh thing and a fancy restaurant, I dressed a little nicer.
Yeah.
Okay, I put on like a more casual dress shirt, but still a dress shirt, and some khakis. Much like
Nice.
Jake from State Farm.
Yes.
But it never checks in with my brain. Probably just maybe the way that I was raised, but like, just because you're going to fancy things
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem to mean that you have to dress nice.
Yeah.
You can wear your ratty old t-shirt and your ripped jeans, and it's fine.
That I've heard is.
And I feel out of place with my
Right.
nice clothes.
Doing the right
I feel like the
thing.
weird one. Yes.
I remember, and maybe you saw this too, when I was moving here. Like every city has like some weird quirks to it, and like major cities is what I'm talking about. Going from Seattle
Yeah.
to Los Angeles, and it's like I remember hearing that a lot. Like LA is fashionable but laid back, and like you are almost expect like a job interview. You show up to that in a t-shirt. I'm like, what? That's not
Right.
allowed. I
Yeah.
gotta go to a fancy restaurant. Yeah, jeans and ripped jeans and a sleeveless shirt. Sure, fuck. You're hot.
Yeah.
Dress however you want.
Exactly.
Uh,
But yeah, that combination of feeling out of place with my clothes, the attractiveness of everybody else in this place, and the deafening noise from every other person in there, made me a little anxious.
and the fact that you chose that moment to produce her corsage
Yeah.
on one knee. Will you go to the dance with me?
Well,
Is that
yeah.
how
Will
this
you go
works?
to the dance with me? Yeah.
You brought up something that is a big one for me. That'll send me off. Is noises, noises. But like specifically in that situation, there are a couple of scenes in movies that I thought replicated this very well. One is Punch Drunk Love, and one is what was the Brian Wilson movie? John Cusack playing
Love
John
and
Cusack and
Mercy.
Paul Dano. Love and Mercy. That one had him sitting at a dinner table, and everyone's like forks are hitting their plates, and it's
Mm.
just like, if I'm not paying attention to it, no big deal. But if I start paying attention to it, I zero in on it, and it's all I can hear, and I can't even. Nobody talking to me. I'm just here. All voices are a sea of one voice, and it's just clank, and it stresses me the fuck out. Punch Drunk Love, on the other hand, is like being with a bunch of people and hearing a bunch of voices near you. Like everyone's at the same table, but people are having different conversations, and I'm hearing all of them at the same time. So I guess kind of the same thing. Like it
Yeah.
just forms into one noise that isn't words. And
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, the noise, it doesn't give me anxiety, but it makes it like runs a like chill up my spine. But the noise at dinner, my brother eats like this and it drives me nuts. Cuz he'll like, as he's like, he might be getting the last of the food off his plate and he'll just scrape that fork along the plate.
Sure.
But then what he'll do is when he puts the fork into his mouth, he like clamps down on it with his teeth.
Yeah.
And then brings it out, and so it slides along his teeth. Oh, the sound makes me so uncomfortable.
I get that. That's a bad one. Oh.
You have anything else that you'd like to share on the topic of anxiety?
I mean, yeah, it's a big topic. I mean, I don't have like stories for all these things, so we could shout them out. I mean, you were talking about notifications earlier. I've said that before. Like I've pretty
Yeah,
much
you have notification
shut off
anxiety.
all notifications. 'Cause it's a lot, and I've mentioned this to you, and I will say this: I don't normally talk about work, and hey, I love my coworkers, but several of them, when Slacking, which is the messaging service we use, you get a notification for each Slack, and instead of just typing out a whole thought and sending that,
Mm-hmm.
leaving one notification, they'll go, "Hey, send. How you doing? Send. I'm working on something right now and wanted your help. Send.
Yeah.
It's related to this. Send." And the computer is just going ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I hate that.
And I'm like in the bathroom, having an anxiety wee, going like, "What the fuck is happening out there? Oh my god!" So yeah, just that. Unexpected guests and changed plans. Those are other
Yeah.
sources I don't like. And I don't ever want to sound like this is a sermon from the Mount. This is me going, I know I'm not fun. I know I'm a problem. But like if I've got like, oh, a friend's coming over, awesome. It's just gonna be like yesterday you invited me over. I'm like, great, I go over there. And you were like, there's also 7 other people here. And I didn't know that until I got there. I'd be very quiet.
If you had gotten there around 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
it my apartment was bumping at 5 o'clock because everyone got off work and came to pick up their furniture, and they all kind of got there at the same time. And
Makes
so
sense.
half my furniture, like I'm helping this one dude move a table. I'm letting these other guys in. They're gonna disassemble this cabinet so that they can take it out to their car. I'm bringing out lamps for this other lady. Oh, this guy's here. Hey, your shelves are over here. Let me get them out here into the hallway. Oh, Wes is here to pick up some stuff. Oh, here, Wes, here's your stuff. Oh, this guy needs the couch. All right, let's all work together to take this couch out. It ended up working out fine, but it was a lot all at once.
Like you just gotta fly blind. That's an example of where like my anxiety would be high because I'd be listing it all in my head and going like, I still gotta do this, and this, and I gotta do this. But there's no world where I can move this couch fast enough that everything's fine.
Exactly.
That's like, I guess I'm just you shut down and you fly blind and you just let your body move a couch and hope that when your head hits the pillow, everything got done.
Exactly.
I did have another story. We're kind of late in the episode for it, so I can keep it brief. But I don't remember if we did a texting episode, right? Did we? Or
yes.
Did we not? And this probably came up there, but like texts coming in at in a different order in group messages, if that makes sense. I mean,
yes,
I've got a large group text with a lot of my Seattle friends, and there was something that happened recently where it was like I had texted something and it was at night, and that was the end of that story. And then the next day...
Oh, I thought you meant the story you were telling right now.
Great story, man. The next day...
That was you keeping it brief. I wonder what the long version was.
The next day, someone texted something else and then was like, whoa, Evan! Whoa! Like, texted something like that. And I was like, what the fuck are they doing? What happened? And I've got it always sends me... I was telling a friend of mine, like, I always feel already kind of like I'm out of the loop because I'm the only one on there that doesn't live in Seattle, so they see each other all the time and have their inside jokes from earlier that evening. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. So maybe I'm missing something. I'm like, what is it? And whatever it was, the conversation kept going in a way that was like sounding like people were genuinely upset with me. And I could not figure out what the fuck was going on. And I slowly started figuring out, like, I think this person received my text today and after something else, and maybe the connotation of that sounded weird. And so I keep like texting back like, this is how this went. I don't know what happened. Is everything fine? And I ended up texting another friend of mine like, seriously, are people mad? Because I can't. I fell the fuck apart. This is the tiniest little misunderstanding. I like full on panic attack, fell apart. I just laid in the bedroom in the dark for a long time. Just like, I don't know what to do. I can't handle people being mad at me. I don't like that at all, and that's bad. I should be able to handle that because I will make people mad sometimes. And it ended up being fucking nothing. Like I texted my friend, and this is like hours later because I couldn't bring myself to do it before, just to be like, everything's cool, right? They're like, oh yeah, they were just messing with you. It was like a joke. I'm like, fuck, man.
Hilarious.
I don't know who missed what texts. I feel like I was also missing texts because things weren't making sense. Nothing was like coming together.
Yeah.
I just kept getting the vibe that people were mad at me. I hated it. I hated it so much. Yeah, so I don't think there's a world where we could cover all of the anxieties in the
No.
world, but I think we've got a nice little start on how anxiety can make your life more awkward. Get
Yeah.
up, get on up, and just for the sake, for the sake of saying, I know I've said before, I am on medication for my anxiety and my depression. I take Zoloft, and it's helped me quite a bit. So, not saying, hey, everyone go take medication, but if you're having a very hard time, talk to people. It's worth a
Yeah.
shot if it's
I
bad
think
enough.
that for those about to have an
Rock?
anxiety
No.
attack, we salute you for sure.
First off, we salute you.
First off, we salute you. Second off, some things that could help could be medication, could be
Yep.
that process of grounding yourself,
Yeah.
focusing on a color and seeing what things of that color you can spy with your little eye,
Yeah.
or even just acknowledging in your brain that you're having an anxiety attack, and if it's not the first time that's happened, maybe that simple acknowledgement will help your brain kind of know what to do next for how to cope. If it is the first time, we salute you. Anything else we've learned, Evan?
I mean, nope.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the tough thing with it. It's like I don't feel like this isn't an advice podcast per se,
Right.
but people might pop on to here looking for advice, and the advice is everybody's different. Clearly, just talking through it, Chris and I experience it differently. Different things will work for us, and that is where therapists come in and they rule. Is you need some help? Someone will make a little plan specifically for you, and that's great. The internet is a vast, dangerous place to look for help.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a lot of mixed information out there.
Yeah.
Another huge thing you can do to help your mental health is listen to more How Do We Human?
Absolutely.
This podcast is all over the place. We simply can't help it. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to us on Spotify. Let's be honest, that's where you're probably listening to us. One of those two. You can do both. And on both, you can rate us. We still don't have a rating on Spotify. So you
We
Spotify
don't?
listeners, we don't have enough yet. And I listened to a half an episode and it was like, all right, now you can rate it. And I gave us 5 stars.
Yeah.
So we
I
just need a
think
few
that's
more.
what I did too.
So interview right now, if you're listening on Spotify, click that app open, hit that 5 stars because you love us and we love you. We're a happy family. Leave us a review. We love reviews. We love to read them. We'll read them out loud. We'll say your name. Say your name when no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you. And you can hang out with us on social media. We loves that. We love to.
We loves that.
We loves that. We love to post things. I posted something today. How about that? Go check it out. You can check that out on Instagram. We are at How Do We Human.
We got that handle.
You can check us out on Twitter. We are at How Do We Human Pod.
We tweet those tweets.
They never say I'm not consistent. You can find us on Facebook. We are at How Do We Human.
Gotta get that handle.
And you could send us an email. You'll love to read them. And we'll read them out loud if you want us to. Send us requests. Send us questions. Tell us you love us. That is howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
The best part of that handle is that it's an email. I couldn't remember how you did it last
I don't
episode.
either. That was
Okay.
close. That was close, if not
We
exact.
got the same idea.
Yeah. Or I think that it's an address, I think is what I said.
Uh-huh.
Yours is a little more clear. Mine is more technical. It is an address. It's an email address. Maybe there it is.
There it is. Whoop, there it is.
Oh, whoop.
Oh, whoop.
You know how I love to whoop. Chris, you got something that's going to make me whoop?
Oh, baby, I hope you whoop after this story. I am creating a new business.
Sweet.
I recently went to an arcade.
Ooh.
And we'll probably talk about that next episode. Because I bumped that from the How You Doing so that I could talk about the thirsty people on the bus. But while I was at this arcade, everybody loves to play arcade games. Everybody, not just children. Everybody loves to play these big ticket winning games. But a lot of the places that you go to, what you can redeem your tickets for is pretty much for children.
That's true.
I am creating an adult arcade where the prizes are things that you want in your adult life. I'm talking blenders.
Yes.
I'm talking armchairs.
Ooh.
I'm talking discounts for Spectrum Internet. All sorts of things that an adult would want to play more of the games to win these prizes.
Hell yeah. I'm in. I need a blender. I want a really nice blender. And I could play some skee ball.
Absolutely. Come check out Chrissy Cheese.
Whoop.
Oh, wow, baby. I made him whoop. Evan?
Yeah.
Do you have anything that's going to make me say, there it is?
Oh, I hope so. That's less of a...
less of a guttural reaction.
Yeah.
to say, yeah.
Ah, there it is.
There it is.
So, people love their technology, except for those old Luddites. They hate the technology. They don't want any technology. And you're Amish. But some people are those like, I just want to live in the woods. The furthest technology I'll have is a flip phone or whatever. And I'm like, statistically, shouldn't there be a lot of the middle ground? That's not the like, I just use the technology. You're on the technology side then. But the people who are like, I like technology, but I want it to be a little more manual,
Mm-hmm.
And just people who like silly shit. So I'm like, hey, I'm developing an app, you can hook it up to your iPhone, and it'll make it so that you can only use your iPhone via commands. High tech, right?
Right.
But what makes those commands go? What makes those commands go? How do you activate those commands?
What makes those commands go?
There's only one way. Harmonicas.
Is it specific notes activate specific commands? What?
Oh,
or is it just the sound of a harmonica makes those commands go?
Harmonica riffs.
Okay.
Everyone will learn the harmonica. And this will be happening on buses, business meetings. Like, sorry, I gotta take a call. And it's gonna rule. And hopefully, there's enough commands needed that one harmonica can't do it. This is in the key of A, and then I got a key of C right here. So you're gonna need multiple
You're
harmonicas,
gonna need multiple
and be a
harmonicas.
little John Popper with a harmonica vest across your chest. So
Well, this
harmonica phone.
is harmonica phone. Okay, great. I do have a harmonica in one of these drawers over here.
See, you're ready to go.
So I'm ready to go. This is an invention that I suppose I could get started with right away.
All right. Hey, well,
Evan, if you don't mind, I just got to interject and say, there it is.
I thought so. I said something, and there it was. Well, sweet anxiety. Is it time for us to try to sleep, but instead think about terrible, stupid shit you said in the 3rd grade to someone that you haven't spoken to in 30 years?
Yeah, that's what I do many a night.
The trying to go to sleep, and I remember being in the grandstands at a middle school basketball game, and me and Michael Beard passing a basketball back and forth in the bleachers, and then the ball fell out of the bleachers and onto the court, and everyone got so mad.
That ball said, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.